Hunter's running, and he's running to save his party from the commies. The Atlantic says the Democrats need a new campaign strategy, and they want masculinity. We know Hunter's straight. We've seen the evidence, and he's out for blood.
I would tell him to go his self. That's what I would tell him. And please leave. The that he says about my dad, his obsession with tormenting my dad, hanging a picture of an auto pen on the colonnade, demeaning him, and all the things that he said about him. And anyone would expect me to do anything outside of which I would never do is physical violence against that person? Well, what kind of man would I be if I didn't tell him to go himself?
This is something straight out of a Greek tragedy. Both Bidens are now back for revenge. The big guy slowly creeping back into the Beltway.
Since I left the presidency, I've had a lot of people ask me, Joe, what have you been doing? I've been spending a lot of time with my family. I'm dealing with a cancer diagnosis, and I've been getting treatment, and it's been going really well. I've written a book about my time as president. It's called Promise Me America.
The book's coming out after the midterms. Joe knows the commies are going to blow it for the Democrats, and he's going to say, see, I told you so. I united both factions of the party, but you got rid of me, and all hell broke loose. But the Clintons say Sleepy's stepped in it.
The reason the Democratic Party is in the shape it is because Joe Biden wouldn't get out until July the 21st of the election year. All right? Had Joe Biden gotten out in October of 2023, we would have a Democratic president. Don't kid yourself.
As Reverend Wright said, the chickens have come home to roost. The commies are here to cleanse the Democrat Party so someone like Joe can never again be shoved down anyone's throats.
How many Democrats didn't want Joe Biden to run again in 2024, and yet the institution boxed out pushback or a primary process in order to force that through? DSA is such an antidote to that.
After the commies blow up the Democratic Party, they're going to blow up the country. They held a secret call last night where they rattled off their little manifesto. And it is crazy town. Play the tape.
So whenever people are like, oh my God, they want to get rid of the president, I was like, well, I don't know what we would call it in the future. We could call it the head honcho of whatever.
It sounds so radical, like abolish the Senate, abolish the Supreme Court, like et cetera, but it's not. Like those are the things that need to happen in order to have a political system that actually like works for working people.
For America 250, these communists want to get rid of the presidency, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. How would we govern ourselves? We wouldn't. They want amnesty for all immigrants, no border, no deportations. Medicare for all, no cash bail, defund the Pentagon, the Green New Dealio, universal rent control, a wealth tax, a 32-hour work week, and no pay cuts. And capitalism, that's gone.
What would it be like to live in a world without capitalism, to live in a world where you can take a day off from work, but you don't hate your job? And you don't have to have a job just to pay the bills because you don't have a lot of bills, right? Bills are no longer a thing because there's not for-profit businesses that are constantly trying to exploit you and trying to, put you into debt.
No work, no bills, no rent. Sounds like paradise, right? Even old liberals are like, I don't know.
And when you're hearing like Mamdani talk about freezing rents and taking bad landlords and then confiscating their property, you're like, this is step one of what's happened in every communist dictatorship throughout history. Yeah. This is what happened in North Korea. Give the government the land, and we'll make sure that no one ever has to worry about food. What a great idea. Yeah, man. Look how it turned out.
They want to take away your right to vote for president, take away your doctor, your police department, your military. And this is somehow going to magically all work out. All these people pushing this went to college for a while. And now most of them don't have real jobs. They don't work. But they're going to tell us this is going to help people who do? Bull.
This is why I think the DSA types are a little full of when they talk about helping normal people. If you want to help a normal person, don't provide a corporation 9 low-wage migrants to compete against them when they're bargaining for wages. You actually give workers more power when you have a more restricted immigration policy.
You know where else things are free? Cuba. Ask the Cubans if they like all their free stuff. They're not here to help you. They're here to help themselves. But they don't want to work for it. They're too lazy. They have low self-esteem and they can't achieve the American dream because they haven't even tried. So they're going to force you to hand over your money, your property, your power, and your freedom by making crazy promises like, oh, they're going to take care of you. But look at them. They can't even take care of themselves. They get traction because they're passionate, declaring they're going to stick it to the man. Well, the man gave me a job. The man built me a house. The man got me a 401k. I kind of like the man. Maybe I am the man. Communism's actually just cheating. If you can't succeed, you just make other people give you stuff. Newsom's losing to Kamala so badly now that he's getting a little commie-curious. Watch.
Certainly nostalgia is not working. I would argue socialism not going to work. But capitalism as we know it doesn't work either. And so when we talk about rewriting or at least renegotiating this social contract and rewriting it as authors, not consumers, we have to fundamentally understand that it's broken and we cannot play in the margins any longer.
Capitalism as we know it doesn't work. Well, it worked for him. I'll give him this. Capitalism works better in some places, better than others. That's why people leave California to go to Texas. Knee pads is straddling this whole deal. But if you stand in the middle of the road, you get run over. Now, when I was coming up, life was expensive, really expensive. I couldn't afford a nice apartment, a nice car. I couldn't afford to go out to eat at fancy restaurants. I scraped by, I saved, I worked really, really hard for years. Didn't happen overnight. When I was 29, I didn't tell Fox I wasn't going to work 40 hours a week. I only wanted to do 32. I didn't barge into O'Reilly's office and ask him for half his salary. He would have punched me in the face. He would have punched me in the face. Now, life seems a little unfair or unaffordable when you're young and you're still in college and you're in debt, yeah. Or if you were born in another country and you come here and you see all of this fabulous wealth.
How we've gotten to socialism is somehow seen as this thing that's going to fix the United States. And by the way, the people who are saying it have all migrated from countries that are disasters to come to the United States, to get away from their country, to come fix the United States, the country that everyone wants to migrate to. It's a very confusing time.
And people coming from Somalia and Ethiopia are telling us how to fix our country? America's worked out a lot better than anywhere else. The whole world doesn't come here because it's Somalia. They come here because it's America. And you don't fix what's not broken. Now, we're not saying the country can't get better. Of course it can. We have to tinker with a few things. That's what politics is for. That's why we kind of need the Senate and the presidency and maybe even the Supreme Court. Why Doge capitalism? And capitalism's kind of on a hot streak. Here's the CEO of J.P. Morgan.
We're sitting at the Philadelphia Navy Yard where we build ships. They built ships here that won the Revolutionary War, that helped win World War II. And so now you have this, the arsenal of democracy has been reignited, and shipbuilding, people said couldn't happen. There's 16,000 workers here. That number may very well double over the next 5 years as it builds more ships.
You think those people will want to work 32 hours a week? Nothing more? That's America's engine right there. And the Democrats hacked away at a lot of those jobs. That's why we have to dig ourselves out of this hole.
We ran the experiment of offshoring all of our industrial jobs, of becoming a services and finance economy, and allowing Wall Street to come in and buy every asset of modern life and turn it into an investable, line goes up asset. And what has that done? It's created a generation of kids who kind of are attracted to socialism. We have to fix that problem.
Now, the country knows we've proven that we let China and immigrants take our jobs in factories. That's understood. That's why Trump was elected twice. He'd argue 3 times. So Americans can compete against other Americans in a fair marketplace to work the kind of job that can pay the bills. Now, Wall Street and Silicon Valley are all looking at each other now, and they're thinking, what were we thinking? They cut checks to the Democrat Party, who for years told them they're evil and greedy. And they told them Trump was evil and he was a dictator. Now we're all waking up knowing we were lied to.
The reality is that most of us were lied to by the media about President Trump. And if you just go back to the source material, you should take away 2 things. 1, he didn't say half the things he said. And 2, why did these other people just fabricate what they wanted to say so that they could essentially assassinate his character? I think that that second thing is completely unacceptable in America, and there's still been no repercussions, really.
This country's climbed a lot steeper hills. And we know that the secret to success is you build bigger, you invest, you work harder, be creative, take some risks. Most importantly, be positive. The answer is not just knock everything down. That's for suckers. If you think destroying the country is going to make the country better, you're an idiot. Now, I don't even know who's dumber now, the commies or the Democrats locking arms with them. Now, why? Because the commies have energy. You know who else has energy? Hamas. They're saying they want to abolish the Senate, and the Democrats in the Senate are like, you know what? We're open to these new ideas. Big tent. Here's an idea. Join us. Fight communism like we did during the Cold War. Remember? We won. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.